Das ist exakt oder wie Governor Nazi Newsom. Sie musste stay in the home. Sie leave the home. Gestapo will arrest the ass. It's good for the governor to wine and dine for $15,000, but she must stay home. Hell, Newsom. That's exactly what's going on in California. 85 to 90% of that state is now on lockdown as this morning, the 7th. And folks, you should go to this COVID19.california.gov site. This thing reads like a Nazi manifesto. I kid you not. So here are the state orders in California. A stay-home order, a blueprint for a safer economy, whatever the hell that means, a limited stay-home order, and a regional stay-home order. Now, back in March on the 19th, there was an executive order. You can download this as a PDF file, and a public health order, which can also be downloaded as a PDF file, which directed all Californians to stay home except to go to an essential job or to shop for essential needs. And the blueprint for a safer economy allows for gradual reopening of certain businesses and activities. Well, thank you, Governor Nazi Newsom, and all you California state officials. Doesn't it sound like gradual emancipation? You California citizens are now slaves in your own home. Am I allowed to say that? Yeah, they're slaves in their own home, thanks to Governor Nazi Newsom, who was out whining and dining at the French Laundry, $15,000 a pop, on your dime, and he wasn't wearing a mask. So I think you people in California should protest. Go out there and protest. Keep your businesses open. Defy that order. Yeah, absolutely defy that order, because it is a violation of your First Amendment rights, of the Commerce Clause. Do you realize that money is a form of speech? It is. If you give somebody $5 for whatever it is, you're saying, I'm giving you this $5 in exchange for this item because I trust that the item you're giving me has value, and that value is worth $5, and I'm going to get something out of it. I'm going to get my money's worth. So money is speech. Now, on November 21st, there were counties in the Tier 1/widespread purple tier area, which were directed to stop non-essential activities between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. It's estimated that over 500,000 businesses are now in economic jeopardy in California, and that includes over 100,000 restaurants. You can throw bars in there as well. Oh, by the way, I have got to say kudos to the guy in Staten Island who stood his ground, created this autonomous zone around his bar. Good for him. And all you people that were out there supporting him, way to go. You did it peacefully. You didn't burn anything to the ground. You didn't threaten the cops. You didn't tear down monuments. You just wanted this business to stay open. And this man was not doing anything wrong. Now, why was it okay for BLM and Antifa in Seattle to create this Chop Chaz zone, and you people in Seattle did nothing about it, but you're going to come and arrest this guy who is a law-abiding citizen, who pays his taxes, who operates a business, who actually employs people to work in that business, who brings money into your community, which brings tax dollars because there's a lot of money made from taxes off of alcohol and tobacco. So shame on this governor in California. All of you state officials or governors who want to restrict people's way of life. No, we're not going to tolerate anymore. It's time for you people to rise up and for you to go protest this. Now, you don't burn things to the ground. You don't tear down monuments. You don't threaten a cop or even a government official. But you say, hey, I'm an American citizen. I'm protected by the U.S. Constitution, and you're in violation of my constitutional rights and in violation of the Commerce Clause. I have the right to peaceably assemble wherever I want. I have freedom of movement in this country. And yes, once again, money is a form of speech. So it really burns me up when I see this. It really does. And there was a case in 1995 that had to deal with the Commerce Clause. And that got amended in 2000. I'll talk about that here in just a moment. But in 1995, there was a case known as United States versus Lopez. It took place in San Antonio. there was a high school student who challenged the Gun-Free Zones Act of 1990, and that banned possession of handguns near schools. So in a majority decision, 5-4 decision, Chief Justice William Rehnquist, along with 4 other justices, concluded that Congress had broad lawmaking authority under the Commerce Clause, but they did not have the power to regulate the carrying of handguns. But that was amended in 2000, and they specified that, yes, you could apply restrictions to guns that are purchased from state to state, interstate commerce. But the point is, this is a government for the people, by the people, elected by the people. These people, whether they are in the Supreme Court, the governor of California, whether it's the president of the United States, these people work for us. They work for us. And it's time we start acting like it. So my conclusion is that California is now a Gestapo state. It's Gestapo. You know what the Gestapo did? They forced people to obey by putting restrictions on them, restricting their movement. Everything they're doing right now in California with COVID-19 is exactly what happened in Nazi Germany. Take it from somebody of German heritage who studied this, who knows this. I don't want to see that here. Stand up. Stand up for your rights. Stand up for this country, for what we represent. Freedom. We're not going to let a virus stand in our way of living our lives. We can't do it. This might be kind of a repeat of a video I did earlier, but it seems like this is a recurring theme now. That we have the government trying to tell us how to live our lives, trying to lock us in our homes. Well, no, you're not going to lock me in my home. I'm not going to tolerate it. My taxes pay your salary. You work for me. The American citizen. So if you enjoyed the video, please click that like button, subscribe, hit me up on Instagram at #JasonComposes. Leave comments below. You can also reach me at Twitter, Voice of the Composer at Twitter. But folks, I'm telling you, I've had it up to here. I've had it up to here with all the government regulations, the red tape, these bloated bureaucracies that think they should tell us how we should live our lives. It's time to get rid of the FBI, CIA, IRS, all these agencies that got 10 or 20 names to them. It's time to get rid of them. It's time to cut the fat. It's time to give the power back to the people. This is why the establishment in D.C., these Democrats, are mad at Trump. This is why they're trying to kick him out of office. Because when he came to office, he did want to shake things up. He wanted to drain the swamp. And he was doing more in his 4 years. Whether you agree with him or disagree with him, doesn't matter. But if you look at his track record, he accomplished a lot in 4 years that these people in D.C. haven't accomplished in 50 or 60 years. Just his outreach to the African American community alone, the fact that we had people in the African American community vote in large numbers this time around for Trump, says something. And the Hispanic community, the Cuban community in Florida, or Cuban community in general. It doesn't matter if you're black or white, Hispanic, Asian in this country, Italian, Iranian. Oh, which reminds me, what is this clown at the New York Times, David Freeman or whatever his name is? Did you hear what he said? Oh, this is really good. So all of you Iranian Americans out there who are listening to the series, get ready for this. You need to sit down for this. He said that when Trump leaves the White House, his limousine is going to be yellow and his driver is going to be speaking Farsi. That is the most racist thing you can say. Are you saying, Mr. Friedman, that all Iranians who come to this country are just taxi cab drivers? We have Iranian doctors in this country. People who work in the music industry who are Iranian in this country. A lot of great artists. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Freddie Mercury was part Iranian, wasn't he? Maybe I'm wrong on that. Freddie Mercury of the group Queen. But David Freeman has the gumption to sit there and say that when Trump leaves the White House, I can understand that you don't like this president, Mr. Freeman. I can completely understand that. But to go as far as to say that his limo is going to be yellow and his driver's going to be speaking Farsi, that is one of the most racist things you can say. Why didn't you say his driver's going to be white and speak in English? He didn't say that. So it's time for us to stand up to these people. And you can tell the hate they have for us, for this country. The fact that you've got people that were trying to manipulate this election. Talked about on my last video. This video evidence that shows that people were in fact counting ballots well after they told people that they had stopped counting for the day. Seems to me, just from simple observation, and I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, said it before, proudly will say I'm an independent. Use logic, reason. That's the way you should be looking at things, with your convictions as well. But just looking at the video footage myself, using logic and reason, if people are told that they're, or being told that they need to go home for the day, or they can go home for the day because they've stopped counting, and you're continuing to count, well, there's a question there why you're continuing to count when you said you were done counting for the day. You said it. We didn't say it. You said it. You should be careful what you say sometimes. Careful what you do. And the fact that you did this in a room that had surveillance or surveillance cameras tells me that maybe in some small way you wanted to be caught. Now, I don't want to go off on a tangent here, do a repeat of my last video, but folks, it's all tied together here, it really is. These people, I don't care if they're Democrats or the DC, I don't care what party they're from, but I do care when you start tearing down monuments, and I do care when you start burning down cities, and you want to blame this race or that race for your problems, and you're locking people in their homes in California over a virus which we can conquer. We now have a vaccine for it. So down with the Gestapo. Down with the nanny state. It's time to stand up for our rights. If I'm a lone voice here on YouTube, fine. But I'm going to do what's right. I'm going to stand up for this country. I'm going to preserve our history, our culture, and our Constitution, and our rights as Americans. Are you with me? Voice of the Composer saying peace out. I'll catch you next time. Stay safe, everybody, and God bless this great country.